Friday, the 13th of November, 2015, a little after 9 p.m.
Il y a deux voitures qui se sont arrêtées et retiré sur les deux restaurants qui sont à l'angle et retiré plein de coups de feu. Oui, vite au Bataclan, des gens avec des kalachnikovs. Ça me sent terroriste.
The anti-crime brigade is the first to arrive on the scene. Ill-equipped and underprepared to face the attackers. Their actions that night turned out to be decisive. 10 years after the 13th of November, these everyday police officers are the first responders in the event of a terrorist attack. To be ready, they undergo special training. This week, around 10 officers are taking the mass casualty course, and their instructors are throwing them in the deep end with their first simulation exercise.
It's an extremely immersive training course that really emphasizes action and movement. We warn the officers about the presence of an armed individual without providing many details, with some wandering the streets.
They don't always have the right reflexes. The aim of the simulation is to identify mistakes and prevent officers from repeating them.
Face à nous, montez les mains en l'air. Mets les mains en l'air. Super. Allonge-toi, face contre terre et t'écartes les bras. En tout, c'est une suspicion d'explosion, prenez vos distances.
Et ils annulent tout ce qu'ils avaient fait de bien, ils l'annulent assez vite. Ouais. Ok. Antoine, il y avait quoi dans ton sac à dos?
Explosif.
Ok. Donc, les gars, vous êtes tous? On est d'accord. Allez, go!
The anti-crime brigade has field experience, from demonstrations and domestic violence to robberies and drug trafficking. But the fight against terrorism is not at the core of their job. This training is to help them know what to do in the event of an attack.
What does the National Response Plan say? Since the attacks, what is required of us is that the internal security forces respond to a terrorist attack within 25 to 30 minutes max. Your job will be to get as close as possible. I didn't say in the zone. And above all, you will have to do one thing, which is to ensure that the crisis is contained.
The trainees take part in more simulations. Instructors act as armed individuals. For the exercise, they only shoot pellets. But the goal is to make it feel as anxiety-inducing as possible.
We try to simulate the real thing as much as possible with very aggressive tactics on the part of the assailants. That is to say, those who play the terrorists and attackers, we raise our voices, set off non-hazardous explosives, use fake grenades and things that shake them up a bit. We have to put them in a difficult position so that they realize that they make one wrong move, it could cost them dearly, and the mission won't be accomplished.
As a way of debriefing, they participate in role-playing workshops. The trainers provide practical advice with a focus on safety.
We are given practical and theoretical guidance on how to respond and who does what. And another very interesting aspect is that we use the equipment we are supposed to use. So that alone, just setting up and putting away our equipment several times in a row, as we are doing here, prepares us to respond to this type of mission.
Following November 13th, the anti-crime brigade was given new protective equipment better suited for armed attacks. Among the new gear is this assault rifle, the HKG-36, known for its accuracy and being easy to handle. But moving with a bulletproof vest, helmet, and shield weighing up to 40 kilos while trying to hit the target with a rarely used gun proves to be very challenging.
One here, one there, and this one's out. And here, I think I'm even off target. I mean, I'm sure I am.
At the end of these 4 days of training, they should be operational. Back to reality, Tony is part of the night brigade in the southeast of Paris. Every night, he gets his equipment ready before heading out on patrol. On the 13th of November, Tony exchanged fire with the attackers at the Bataclan concert hall. Tonight, he's on patrol with Julien, who was among the first responders to the restaurant shootings.
That evening, Friday the 13th, it was impossible to know, especially the magnitude. We got a slap in the face. We had to change everything, from the equipment to reviewing our methods and everything that was outdated.
10 years after the attacks, Tony and Julien feel better equipped to handle these type of events. But for them, training isn't everything.
We now have the capacity to act and respond a lot more efficiently, much better than before. But let's not kid ourselves. To develop reflexes, you have to practice. So we develop our reflexes through our training.
Their colleague Virginie, sitting in the back, doesn't have their experience. She's waiting to take the mass casualty training course. But tonight, there's no time to waste. The team is called for an emergency at a housing estate in a Paris suburb. A woman is threatening her neighbors with a shotgun. On site, the brigade brings out heavy protective gear and HKG 36s, which doesn't happen often. In the column, third in line, Virginie must provide cover for Julien and Tony, just in front of her. Tonight, once again, they need to arm themselves with courage, which no amount of training can prepare for.